to remember about not just the adults in these sorts of conditions, but that our children are also forced into isolation. We also must wonder, how do we judge a nation by how well it takes care of its children?
You got a problem there if you're trying to control their behavior rather than teach them how to mature. So what we'd like to do in Dignity in Schools and in Teachers Unite is teach them social skills when they come in, treat them as if they were our children, build community with them. How do you deal with conflict? How do you deal with your feelings when you're angry, when you're sad, when you're happy? How are you a good winner? All of that stuff you have to teach kids as if they were our own children. And that's what we think of teaching to the whole child is all about. Teach them to grow up, help them mature. And even when they make mistakes, you don't kick them out, because what are you teaching them by suspending?
So for the millions of immigrants who, number one, are living in the United States without access to legal status whatsoever, right? That they cannot legalize their status because the laws don't give them any opportunity to do so. But at the same time, we have a system in which immigrants have been part of the massive growth, the massive increase of incarceration in this country.
I want to talk about solitary confinement. It's an awful thing that we're doing in the United States, and it's happening all over in secret and in isolation. We're taking more than 80,000 people in various jails and prisons, and we're isolating them and torturing them while they're there. I just went with my 13-year-old, went to the Mandela movie just a weekend or two ago, and he looked at that and he came to me dead. He said, I almost never cried in a movie, but I cried after this one. And he saw that torture, and unfortunately I didn't say to him, what I was thinking is, we're doing this in the United States. That same sort of torture, that same sort of isolation is happening everywhere, every day, to thousands and thousands of people.
A long, long way to go.
This is a part where we allow people who are previously infected or mostly infected on the issue speak out against the issue, because these are issues that next year we want to be able to raise again and see how many accomplishments we've made.
And say, hey, do you have documents? They stop us in the buses, they stop us in the trains. Do you have documents? No, we are afraid to travel. We are afraid to even be in our homes because we can be picked up. We can be sent to jail for weeks and months, years. I spent 2 years in immigration detention. 2 years in immigration detention.
I did a little speech. This is my first time doing this. Bear with me. My name is Daisy Rodriguez. My son is in solitary confinement for a year and 3 months already. Okay? Please don't make me cry. No. Well, let me tell you. He's overwhelmed. He's very depressed. By the way, he got mental health issues. He got bipolar disorder. And yesterday, he had an altercation with the police officers, which they provoked him, you know. And I don't believe that you should abuse the power that you have. No matter what job you have or what profession, if you're not meant to deal with humanity, don't take the job just because he give you money. You have to do things to satisfy and help others and enlighten. Juntos, the public united, never be defeated. Okay? We won. I love you.
What we're dealing with now in New York City is those with mental illness who lingers in our jails. In this great country we call of ours, it's time to band together. For those who are and who don't even know, it could come to your home. It came to my home. I come from Brownsville, East New York, by the way of Bedford-Stuyvesant. I was there to see the deprivation of my people, as thousands of Latinos and African Americans are drugged to their death to the death chambers of our prison system. This is a serious issue.
When people are being murdered and poets are silenced by the state.
I spit this piece to conquer hate.
In streets and then in courtrooms.
I will yell it in my cell until they throw me in the hole.
And covered by their darkness, I will hold this piece of light
that I seen in children's eyes.
That reminds me why we fight.
And from right here,
I'll spit the depths.
To me, that is wrong, especially when you're talking about individuals who are substance addicted or who are mentally ill or have emotional issues. So these pieces of legislation are aimed at stopping that type of torture. This issue for me is one of my top priorities moving forward, both because it affects me personally, but because it really is a human rights issue. And that's why we had to continue to press for it, and that's why I wanted to come out here.
That is all the more reason for me to stand here spitting the peace that keeps me radical, because it's the same peace being demanded by the prisoners of Guantanamo.
It's the same peace Native Americans deserved when they fought alongside Geronimo.
This is the piece of skin torn from a mother's limb when Lebanon was bombed.
And the piece of porcelain that reminds her children of her now that she is gone.
This is the piece of Muslim prayer calls.
This is the piece of Christian songs.
It's the piece that keeps me sewn into the fabric of every sweatshop.
It's the last piece of bread before the famine stole the whole crop.
This is the little piece of genius my boys keep hidden under hoods.
And this piece is to remind me, it ain't easy to be good.
And we should be proactive like families hustling in our hood.
And always keep it moving, cause doing nothing is not peace.